Hey everybody, B Davis back here, and now I am ready to argue. I'm ready to brawl. I'm ready to pick a fight with your favorite college football team. Why? Because the CFP rankings have made their debut for the 2025 season, and I'm ready to tell you why, who's up, who's down, why this team won, lost. No, I'm kidding. Forget about it. I'm not going to tell you any of that. I just know that it's the first rankings. It is important because it gives you an idea of where the CFP selection committee thinks of every team, but it's also not important because it's the first one and we've got a lot more football to play. There's a lot more games to go. There's going to be huge swings as we go down the stretch. We see it every year in November. This one will be no different. But let's talk about the rankings because I do think it's important, like I said, to see where the committee sort of feels like everyone sort of stacks up. No surprises at the top. You knew the top teams were going to be Ohio State, Indiana, undefeated Texas A&M, 1, 2, and 3 right there. The number 4 team to get that last bye if the season ended today would be Alabama. And then you go right on down the list. But I've already seen some people on the social media mean streets feeling that Texas A&M has been dissed by this. And let me tell you something right now, guys. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Mac Rhodes, the Baylor athletic director, who's also heading up the CFP selection committee, no easy job by any stretch, came out afterwards and said that he definitely thought that A&M is in the mix of the top spot. They're in the conversation for the top spot, but that the defense was the differentiator. Okay, you go look at the scoring defense totals. Ohio State's number 1, Indiana's number 3, A&M is number 60 in scoring defense right now. Does that mean A&M's defense is bad? Heck no, absolutely not. They have the SEC sack leader in Cassius Howe. I think the Aggies are going to keep playing terrific defense, and their third down defense is spectacular, right? No question about that. So I don't really buy that the A&M defensive argument is that they're just dramatically better, or I'm sorry, dramatically worse than the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers. I don't buy that. I also don't buy that the Big Ten is some sort of better conference than the SEC. I'm not an SEC homer. I'm not an SEC apologist, but I'm not going to be one that tries to snow you on the idea that the Big Ten is somehow dramatically better than the SEC. Not going to do it. Aggies, just keep winning because if you are in line to get one of these first round buys, you're probably going to think that's pretty good, right? I'm going to tell you why the happiest team in the CFP should be the Georgia Bulldogs, right? You say, well, B. Davis, why them? Because they are number five in the first CFP rankings. And the thing about it is that what makes that so much better than getting a first round bye? Shouldn't you want a first round bye, BD? Yeah, maybe you should. But I got to tell you, after what I saw last year from the CFP, I'm not convinced a first round bye is the way to go. All 4 teams that got buys last year all lost, right? Texas beat Arizona State. Ohio State beat number 1 Oregon. Boise State could not get past Penn State, and Nittany Lions looked pretty good in that game. And you remember that Notre Dame beat Georgia. Georgia was number 2 last year. All of those teams, okay, had home games and played really, really well, got their momentum going, and then they went to a bowl site and just ran right through the team that had a bye. And I wonder if I'm a coach out there, is it better to play a home game, get everybody riled up about the CFP, okay, play at home and win that game and now have real momentum going into a bowl game because it's a fairly normal turnaround, right? About a 10-day layoff or so in between games in the postseason last year. I'd rather do that than sit at home and watch all the excitement build up and watch all the fans get worked up and have to sit another 10 days and wait to see who you're going to play, right? Let's go down the rest of the list. Right now, Texas Tech checked in at number 8 in the first CFP rankings. That's interesting to me. The Red Raiders, another team, just keep on winning. Just keep on winning, baby. Because I think the Big 12 is really going to have to make a strong case for themselves. I think the Big 12 in the end may be just a two-bid league. We'll see. Could be BYU and Texas Tech. Um, I just don't know if the committee is going to reward the Big 12 with a third. I just find that hard to believe. I think the SEC and the Big 10 are going to be out there with those are your three-team bid three bid conferences. So, it really feels like to me that this Saturday in Lubbock is one of those. I don't want to call it a playoff eliminator game because I do think BYU and Texas Tech are both going to be in the mix as we go down the stretch. And maybe they play again in Arlington. I don't know. We'll see. But Texas Tech, number 8. Right now, if the season ended today, number 8 team hosts a number 9 game. Jones AT&T Stadium would get a first-round CFP game, and that would be against the number 9 Oregon Ducks. A fascinating matchup, nonetheless. Ole Miss checks in at number 6. They would play the number 11 Virginia Cavaliers. I don't know that kind of blows me away. Virginia Cavaliers, that in the way that the CFP falls, Virginia would get in there as a projected ACC team. And number 7 BYU would play number 10 Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. Remember, just because of where the rankings fall doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to make it in, right? The Texas Longhorns check in at number 11 on the CFP rankings, but that doesn't automatically mean that, yes, they're in the top 12, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to make it in, right? Because of how the bids have to fall. You have guaranteed conference champions making it in, and then you have the highest ranking G5 team, all those things, and you got Notre Dame get in the mix. So it's not really guaranteed that even if you are in the top 12, that you're going to make it in. Texas is number 11, right over number 12, the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm glad to see that the CFP selection committee got that right. They actually knew that Texas beat Oklahoma on the field. That was fascinating in and of itself because apparently AP voters and all that, they don't know that. Not many people paid attention to that Texas actually won that game. So that's fascinating to me. But let's go back to Georgia for a second because I really want to kind of hit on this point. I really do think that if I'm Kirby Smart, I'm feeling pretty good about where things are right now, right? You are high in the CFP mix, right? Your team is playing really good football right now. You said it on the air that, you're hard to kill. I absolutely believe that. The Georgia Bulldogs are hard to kill. No doubt about that. And right now you are set up to get a home game between the hedges in the CFP. And I just don't know if you can ask for anything more than that, right? Outside of winning the SEC, getting into the playoffs and hosting a first-round game, that's pretty good. That's pretty great, really. I mean, I know no coach is ever going to want to admit this, but if you could somehow not make your conference championship game and get in the CFP and host a home game, that seems like the perfect scenario. That is the absolute perfect scenario, right? In terms of what is possible when you don't sort of fulfill your goals, right? That's just interesting to me. Let's go down the list. Look at some other teams that are on the radar right now. 16, the Vanderbilt Commodores. That's interesting to see. Georgia Tech is another team. They're at 17, but they're Georgia Tech and Miami right there, 17, 18, battling there. And further down the list, USC, Iowa, Michigan round out the top 21, 19, 20, 21, followed by Washington, Pittsburgh, and the Tennessee Volunteers at 25. I'm not saying that any of those teams are going to rise up and surprise anybody, but when you're a two-loss team and you are down at the bottom of the top 25, it's just really hard to see you making a big-time jump. So I would sort of draw the line at the top 15, right? Those are the teams that are, in my mind, that are in the real serious mix. And the teams that we like to talk about here are right there. Texas A&M, you're number 3. Just keep on winning. Texas, you get a chance to knock off Georgia at home. Then you get a chance to play A&M. That's at your place at Royal Memorial. That's going to be big. If Texas can win those 2 games, bang, they're in the SEC mix. and they are shooting on up in the polls in the CFP poll, and that's what matters. I do think the Aggies are in a situation where if they did somehow pick up one loss, I do think they're fine. I think the Aggies are trucking towards a CFP appearance in some form or fashion at this point. Hard for me to see A&M losing 2 games, and then maybe getting knocked out completely of the CFP. Very hard for me to see that. I think the Aggies are in the CFP. Maybe not. Don't pin it in, but don't pencil it in, but pin it in. I think Aggies are in the CFP right now. Right, Texas Tech. You're the team that I think that needs to keep working. Right, you need to get a win against BYU at home this weekend and keep building towards making that Big 12 championship game. Because I think as long as if it's a one-loss team, uh, if 2 1-loss teams are in the Big 12 title game, I think both of those teams are probably going to be in the CFP, right? So that's really it. The first rankings, they're just the rankings. There's something for us to talk about, something for us to talk about here on the podcast, something for us to write about, but we'll keep on talking about it and writing about it as the weeks and more polls come out. Once again, bdavis.substack.com is where you can catch everything. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you subscribing and following along. Our subscriber count is growing every day with everything I put out. Man, it's really nice to see people following along to hear what we're talking about here. Keep doing it. Make sure you can send me notes. You can follow me online at @bdavis on the old Twitter machine, or you can email me directly, brdavis98@gmail.com. Come and see us. Come holler at us. That's all for now. We will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Catch you next time.